woke up in Pakistan thinking, today is the day I'm going to go to the bank. In Pakistan, people wake up and like, oh, today is the day I have to go to the bank. Banks in Pakistan treat their customers very much like us Pakistani treat each other. A small sliver get an over-the-top treatment because they're VIP. Some of us get a less than congenial one, and most of us are just forgotten. Currently, there are 100 million people in Pakistan who are not part of the official financial service sector. But the situation is all not doom and gloom. The future is bright. It's Fulbright. And there are right now 73 million and growing 3G and 4G connections in Pakistan, with an ever-increasing number of smartphones and a push from the government that we foresee coming in the next few years. We should see most of Pakistanis become part of the formal sector, financial sector. What's going to happen at that point is that with an influx of so many people coming in, we will have to be thinking about how the financial sector will be able to service them. And to do that, we'll have to reset our thinkings from the ground up. We'll have to move away from traditional product, transactional banking thought patterns towards more of utility. What do people need? What do they want? How can we service them? That thought pattern. And to service, say, 100 million plus people, the way banks are doing it right now is pretty impossible. They can't even handle the numbers right now. So the future goes towards digital financial services and utility-based digital financial services. The bank of the future will not be an app. It won't be a website. It won't be a phone. It'll be everywhere and nowhere. It'll be ubiquitous, yet invisible. It'll be interpretive, yet non-judgmental. It'll know your needs, but also your desires. It'll know you, but it'll also know your context. The bank of the future will be embedded completely in digital channels, seamlessly and frictionlessly. And whatever you do on your digital lives, the bank will be able to support financial transactions and transactions through it. How this will go about is more a question towards open banking. What open banking means is that banks will be opening up their core services to any digital company to come and work with them, and in effect become guarantors and custodians of your digital footprint. Right now, historically, banks have sold us one thing: trust. We trust them with our monetary items, with our most valuables. The vaults of banks hold people's jewelries, their ancestral jewelry, their land deeds. Hell, some people put their passports and visas in there. But the fact of the matter is we trust banks with our most valuables. And in the future, one of the most valuable things that we will own is our digital footprint. The GDPR in EU has already set that rule. Pakistan also admits that people's digital data is their own holding, and banks would probably be entrusted as the organization, because they're so well regulated, to hold that trustworthy, valuable item for us. But what can we do with that data, and where open banking helps us facilitate you? Let's talk about three things. One, how we'll have to move away from the transactional framework towards a behavioral framework. Two, how human beings will be kind of moved aside, where technology kind of services us better than human beings can, especially in advisory. And lastly, how we would be able to collaborate and create what is the future of banking. So if I was to talk about the behavioral framework, think about it this way. In China, already ICBC is using AI to not create risk profiles the standard old way, that how risky you are and what kind of risk anxiety that you can take, and then assume that that gives us the right to choose investments for you. They actually have started using your behavior and detecting from your behavior how risky you are. So if you speed a lot, if you have a lot of speeding tickets, stuff like that, or you go jumping or bungee jumping, you're an adrenaline junkie, you're a risky person. If you're too risky, they'll start triggering things to make you change your behavior and make you less risky. Otherwise, they'll customize an investment for you which fits your behavior rather than a profile that was created. Something, if I was to make it to an analogy for us, is the day before yesterday when I came here, I had the privilege of traveling PIA, And when I went there, I'm kind of tall, and I said, can I get extra leg space? And they're like, yeah, we charge for that now. I'm like, okay, brilliant. How much? They're like 1,000 rupees. I'm like, here's my card. They're like, sir, you have to go to that counter over there to pay the money. I'm like, all right. I go to that counter, and I have to get a seat, 1,000 rupees. They're like, here's the card. They're like, we don't accept card. I'm like, okay, don't you have a card machine? They're like, no, we do have a card machine. For this transaction, we don't accept card. So I had to go all the way outside ATM. Not a very pleasant experience. But the future should be that the moment USEFP invites me again to give you a beautiful talk a few years from now, when I come to the airport, because I'm sure they'll still send me a PIA ticket, the phone should pop up and say, hey, you need the seat. Go to the ATM, get that 1,000 rupees because PIA is still stuck in the boonies. So that's the human behavior element. Now, that would change behavior at that moment. If I was to bring in the fact that technology will overtake human advisory. Right now, I'm a young person, not that young, middle-aged, but I like to think I'm young. But most young people don't know what to do with themselves. They need advice, they need mentorship, especially with investments. So you start making a little bit of money if you're one of the smart ones, unlike me. You want to invest for your future. You want to decide, how do I pay for college? Not everyone's as lucky as the few of us who got paid by the State Department. But they have to plan. There's no way of planning in Pakistan specifically right now. The maximum you can do is you go to an uncle and he's like, buy a plot in that society, Bahia Town's there, this, that, the other. Go to my broker, he'll put a little bit of stock in a blue chip company for the next 10 years, and that's pretty much it. If you have a really smart friend who's an investment banker, he'll create a profile for you and probably lose all your money. But the fact of the matter is, technology is moving far, far ahead. Right now, self-driving cars, as an analogy, can consume 1,000 times more data than our eyes can pick up through LiDAR, radar, cameras, and then process all that information in half the time that our brains can. Similar algorithms, when applied to investments, have in 2017 matched human beings when it came down to giving results of returns on their investments. And with each passing year, with each moving data point added to that algorithm, they're only improving. Very soon, a bank would be able to give young people that I want to pay for college, my master's, 5 years from now, 7 years from now. What do I need to save? How do I have to go? Then it'll assess you as a person, how risky you are, what you behave, and be able to come up with very customized, contextualized savings that make sense. Maybe you're that guy who always has a few thousand rupees in the digital wallet that's just lying there, not doing anything. Move that into a savings account, or not an account, just a savings vessel. The concept of account, saving account, checking account is all going to go, because money is money. It doesn't have to be in a saving account anymore. It just has to be placed in a vessel that's being saved at that point. Lastly, the idea of collaboration. So, as you know, banks aren't the most innovative. We're kind of iterative in our thinking. And to kind of move a step into the future, we can't go the iterative way, because the past 75 years of futuristic thinking has gotten us this far. For a jump, we need to collaborate with you guys, the world outside, the digital entrepreneurs, the fintech leaders. Any kind of business that's being done digitally can collaborate with us. The idea of an open banking platform becomes, the bank has millions of customers. Literally everyone in Pakistan at some point will become a bank's customer, some bank's customer. But with all of them interconnected, they will be your customers. Right now, if you want to make an app, you kind of go to Google Play Store or Apple App Store, because they have a limited amount of customers, a lot of them, but a limited amount of customers who trust Apple and Google, and that's where you sell them your different solutions. Similarly, the bank will be a platform where you can bring your own solutions. You can create an ERP for a small and medium enterprise that's interconnected with our banks and sell that to them. You can create an escrow account service. You can create some kind of AI algorithm that will make you do Tinder for SME. Let's just put it this way, where two SMEs who are new, who need clients, who need suppliers, but you're a small and medium enterprise. You don't know where to get your suppliers from. You only know this one guy, and you have two clients because they're your friend's father, and that's how you know them. But how do you make new customers? The bank knows people who desire what you sell, or who have what you need, and that can be connected. They can make it trustworthy by creating escrow in the middle, where when you pay, you don't have to pay instantly till you aren't satisfied with your service. Like this, and many ways more, which I can't even imagine, the future of banking is not with bankers anymore. The future of banking will be with you guys. Thank you so much.